All right, Commanders fans, we need to talk. This is no longer just background noise. The Terry McLaurin contract standoff is turning into a real problem, and with every day that passes, the pressure mounts. If you think the Commanders cannot afford to head into week one without Scary Terry locked in long term, hit that like button right now. And if you believe McLaurin deserves to be paid as like a top wideout in this league, drop a Tay Dang in the comments because someone needs to sign the deal already. Washington is all in for 2025. You can feel it. The culture shift under Dan Quinn is real. Jaden Daniels is an MVP candidate. The roster is stacked, and there's a Super Bowl window open for the first time in years. But that window is clouded by one major issue. Terry McLaurin still doesn't have a new contract. He's at training camp, yes, but he's not practicing. The official reason? A lingering ankle issue. Unofficially? This is clearly about leverage and money. Bleacher Report's Gary Davenport nailed it in his recent breakdown. Quote, whether you believe McLaurin is worth that much cash at almost 30 years old, his importance to the Washington offense this year is indisputable. The longer this drags on, the worse it is for the Commanders' Super Bowl aspirations. Let's be real. He's right. McLaurin isn't just a wide receiver one. He's been the heartbeat of this team through years of instability. And now that things are finally clicking, you risk alienating your most consistent performer? This isn't just about respect, it's about results. Here's what you don't want. McLaurin's situation lingers into September. He stays on the PUP list. Chemistry with Jaden Daniels stalls out. And other vets in the locker room start asking if they won't take care of Terry, why would they take care of me? That's how winning cultures crack from the inside. And right now, this team is too close to something special to fumble it over a few $1 million. Let's keep it simple. McLaurin is still one of the best route runners in the league. He's clutch, unselfish, and has never complained, even when he had to catch passes from Taylor Heineke, Carson Wentz, and a carousel of backups. You finally get him a franchise QB, and now you hesitate to commit? Don't overthink it. Don't future-proof your cap at the expense of your window. Pay him now, deal with the cap gymnastics later. This isn't about being reckless. It's about being real. You can't pretend you're chasing a ring while holding back the checkbook from your wide receiver one. Now, let's look at a great example of how the Commanders are handling things right. Veteran left tackle Laremy Tunsil and rookie Josh Conerly Jr. are forming one of the most promising mentorship duos in the NFL right now. Head coach Dan Quinn even pointed it out publicly. Quote, to see that starting to begin with Laremy and Josh, you can imagine what an invaluable experience that is. Tunsil wasn't just brought in to block. He's setting a standard, and the rookie's soaking up every bit of it. That kind of relationship accelerated Jaden Daniels' development last year when Marcus Mariota mentored him. Now it's happening again in the trenches, and that could turn this offensive line into a dominant unit. The Tunsil-Conerly story matters here because it shows this team understands the value of veteran leadership. Laremy didn't need to take Josh under his wing, but he did. Terry McLaurin didn't need to stick it out during the darkest days of this franchise, but he did. And now he's the one left in limbo? That's the wrong message. The locker room sees who gets rewarded and who doesn't. That matters. If you're building a new culture, a culture of loyalty, grit, and accountability, then it's time to live that out. Let's get one thing straight. Teams have been calling. According to NFL insider Diana Russini, who dropped some key intel on The Rich Eisen Show, multiple organizations have inquired about Terry McLaurin's availability over the past few months. The response from Washington? A flat-out no. No games, no teasing, no hidden agendas, just a clear message from Adam Peters in the front office. Terry McLaurin is not available for trade, period. Still, that's not stopped speculation from spreading like wildfire. CBS Sports recently linked McLaurin to a handful of teams hungry for wide receiver help, including the Colts, Chargers, Raiders, and Jets. All teams with either young quarterbacks or rosters trying to stay relevant in competitive divisions. But those dreams are just dreams. Now, here's where things get more complicated. Terry McLaurin reported to training camp on July 27th, but not without raising some eyebrows first. He was absent from the early days of camp, choosing to stay away while quietly managing what's being called a lingering ankle issue. But let's be honest, this is more about the contract than the injury. Sources close to the situation have said McLaurin wants to be paid like a top 5 wide receiver. Think DK Metcalf money. 5 years, $150 million. That's the bar. And it's not hard to understand why. McLaurin is coming off a 2024 campaign where he led the team in receptions and yards, posted 13 touchdowns, second most in the entire league, and built a dangerous connection with Jaden Daniels that helped push Washington to the NFC Championship game. This isn't just about numbers. It's about value, leadership, identity. McLaurin is the face of the franchise alongside Daniels. But the Commanders might have a different comp in mind. Courtland Sutton recently signed a 4-year, $92 million extension in Denver, leaving money on the table to stay put. According to The Athletic's Nikki Jhabvala, the Commanders see that deal as more in line with what they're offering McLaurin. That's a massive gap, and it's created tension. Quiet tension, but tension. So why not just trade him? Here's where the bigger picture comes in. The Commanders are not in rebuilding mode. They're not in a transition year. They're going for it right now. Let's look at the facts. Jayden Daniels is the reigning Offensive Rookie of the Year. Laremy Tunsil was brought in to protect him. Deebo Samuel adds explosiveness to the receiving core. The defense, retooled by Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr., looks ferocious. And McLaurin, he's the steady, elite route runner who makes the whole thing go. You don't take a legitimate shot at Super Bowl XL. Yes, you heard that right. Washington is currently 6th in odds according to DraftKings by trading away your top wideout weeks before the season opener. That Week 1 matchup against the New York Giants isn't just another divisional game. It's the launch pad for what the Commanders believe can be a special year, and they need Terry McLaurin in the huddle to make that vision real. So what are other teams really hearing? Here's the inside scoop. McLaurin isn't getting shopped. His camp isn't actively pushing for a trade, but league executives are watching closely. They know he wants to be paid. They know time is ticking. And they know that if things go south during the preseason, whether it's a breakdown in talks, another wide receiver stepping up, or an injury scare, Washington might have a tough decision to make. That's why the rumors persist, but as of now, the door is closed. McLaurin is a Commander, and based on what we've seen from Jayden Daniels and the offensive rhythm under Cliff Kingsbury, that connection could become one of the most dangerous duos in football this season. Fans should care about this not just because McLaurin is one of the most likable players in franchise history, not just because he gives it everything, every snap, every route, but because this is the type of negotiation that will define how Adam Peters builds this roster going forward. Is this a new Commanders front office that knows how to handle star players, reward leadership, and keep the locker room united? Or are we still walking the tightrope between culture change and old habits? Letting McLaurin walk, or worse, trading him midseason, would send shockwaves through a team that finally feels like it's heading in the right direction. Look, Commanders fans, here's the bottom line. This team is closer to a Super Bowl than it's been in 2 decades. You've got the quarterback. You've got the defense rising. You've got the pieces in place. What you can't have is your most reliable star wideout stuck in limbo because the front office is trying to nickel and dime a guy who has earned everything. The longer this goes, the bigger the risk. If you're really all in for 2025, there's only one move left. Get the deal done. Drop your thoughts below. Do you think the Commanders are mishandling McLaurin's contract, or are they playing this the right way? What would you offer Scary Terry to get him back on the field? And don't forget to subscribe to Commanders HQ for every contract update, locker room insight, and game breakdown. We've got you covered.